Member states are supposed to take the necessary measures in ensuring that the fertilizer distributed in the region are of good quality. And this entails, first of all, setting up their regulatory body within the country. And once the regulations have been adopted and at the national level, they need to set up this body and also set up what we call the NAPOFEC, which is the National Committee for Fertilizer Control. Now, the inspection bit about fertilizer is a very, very important phase that every member state is supposed to have. So, because this forms the basics for ensuring fertilizer quality control. And each member state is supposed to have inspectors that would actually go into the field to carry out the inspection, which would then sample the fertilizers for fertilizer quality control. Now, before inspectors are even ready to go into the field, they need certain, let me say, background information about the whole act, which will come in the form of the training. And under the IFDC and ENGRAIS project, what we've been doing annually is to give fertilizer inspection training and quality control at the regional level to train a core competence of fertilizer inspectors who will serve as training of trainers for others in their member states. Apart from them being knowledgeable about the regulatory environment in terms of the regulatory text itself, member states are supposed to ensure that these inspectors are well equipped with the right equipment. For every inspection, before even the inspectors set out to inspect, there are a number of equipment such as sampling probes, the weighing scales, the hygrometer and thermometer, and then also the various forms that we have developed for fertilizer inspection and sampling. Now, the inspection includes the physical inspection and also the sampling for the chemical analysis also. So member states have to ensure that the fertilizer inspectors have these equipment before they can carry out the inspection. And when it comes to the physical inspection, after member states, after the inspectors visit the shop and look at the conditions under which the fertilizers are stored, they take the sample and then check whether these fertilizers, in terms of the moisture content, also whether there's no, in terms of issues of segregation, and also they will go a step further to also check the weight of the fertilizer to determine whether it is within the relevant tolerance levels that they are given. As per the weight of each bag, the regulations allow 1% within which fertilizers should not go out of weight, or we call them underweight. So they are supposed to also ensure that this is done. Now, after we should ensure that every analysis done in the lab depends on the effort that goes into fertilizer inspection. And so during the training, what we often do is to take the inspectors through the process of, first of all, knowing what the regulations entail in terms of their role and the necessary competence the particular inspector is supposed to have. And then after that, take them through the core inspection aspect to be able to have a practical feel about the inspection. Thereafter, we tell them how to carry out the inspection and be able to carry out the sampling process and to be able to get it ready for the fertilizer analysis. Because the issue of inspection, sampling, and testing has its own legal twist when it comes to the results that are generated in the end. And so these inspectors need to know their responsibility and need to also be able to carry out their sampling and inspection exercise within the scope and the confines of the law to be able to have a very good representative sample of whatever it's in the fertilizer bag. So that's what this training and the competence of the inspector is very key. And the full framework of the regulatory office or the regulatory body, in terms of its practicality, or day-to-day operations depend particularly on how the inspectors will conduct themselves in the field. That is why we always entrust member states that after the necessary legal framework and then the regulations have been adopted, and member states have gone further to develop their own country-specific regulations. The next step is to ensure that the core inspectors are nominated, appointed, and also given the necessary training and equipped before with the relevant equipment, like I mentioned before they are sent out into the field to carry out the necessary inspection exercise.